I'm in a place I wanna be. I'm fighting things no one can see. Why are they still here? All of these voices in my head, they're saying all the things.
We're live. Hello, everyone. Oh, black fader. Black fader. Turn the black fader down. There we go. Always technical difficulties. That's the best part. I love this stuff. How's it going, guys?
Well, it lets me kind of jump back in. I'm going to do that one more time.
Oh, yeah, I should do it too.
What's going on, boys and girls? We're dialing it in. Little by little, every week, we're trying to make changes. We're trying to get some better software, some better cameras, some lots of little things. So every week, it's going to see a little more improvement, a little more change. We're going to be learning as we go.
A little bit more weird.
A little more weird. Yeah, as we get comfortable, this could turn into the Saturday shit show. If you've ever been to our Saturday show, this might turn into it with knives.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Hi, I'm John Taglieri.
I'm Jeff Rosen.
This is The Fit Show. Welcome back. It is Monday. It's 4 o'clock-ish. And we want to thank you for coming back again. Last 2 weeks have been so much fun. We want to thank Colleen Markham for being on the show last week. She was fantastic.
Great guest.
This week we've got a great guest for you as well. We're going to bring him out in a minute. We always have to get a couple of things out of the way first. Number one, we are not professionals.
Pretty far from it.
Well, I wouldn't say far from it.
I am.
In a month, I will be professional. In a month, I take my test. 4 weeks from this Wednesday, and then I will be professional.
And then you can be
held
accountable.
And then I can sit here and talk stupid, but I'll have a degree. No, we are not professionals. Everything that we talk about on this show comes from our experiences as a lifetime martial artist, as a triathlon runner and endurance athlete, knowing the things that we've been through. That's what we talk about, the things we've seen work, the things we've seen not work. As we always say, you should consult your physician before you start any exercise regimen to make sure that your body is healthy enough to do it. That being said, we want to say thank you to Nantucket Vineyards for being our wine sponsor. Today we're cooking a steak meal, so we have chosen the Sailor's Delight to go along with the steak. And as usual, we're just going to start the show.
I can't wait.
And as usual,
this is one of my favorite parts.
Jeff's glass.
What?
Keep that right there. And we are putting it in our Fit Show wine glasses.
So we're making steak today? What kind of steak are we making?
We are making a pineapple glazed Hawaiian steak with green beans, roasted green beans, and roasted potatoes. This meal was my creation. I'm going to actually pour a third glass today and leave it in the ready for when we bring our guest on. This way it can breathe a little bit.
Gotta open up.
Colleen didn't drink hers last week, so that left more for you and me. Today it looks like we're all just getting one.
Oh yeah, those are nice pours. I like that.
Thank you. Put that right back there. So I'm actually going to kick on the stove. So Jeff, how was your week?
I had a good week. Getting back from coming off my vacation, it was last week when I was here, I pretty much got right off the plane and came into the show. So I was pretty tired. Hadn't really treated myself all that well. But this week I'm getting back into the swing of things. Got back into the gym. I got on the scale this morning and I was down to 273, which is awesome. I passed that first 10
pounds. That 10 pounds? Yep.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm ready to keep going.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good. That weekend, even though, like I said, I was treating myself for the weekend, and I tried to be good, but I wasn't all that good,
Well, you were on vacation. You're allowed a day on vacation.
Exactly. So, coming back and getting back into it, I realized how much better I have been feeling because I felt it that weekend. It was hurting, and I went back to the gym and was doing some of the same workouts that now after a couple of weeks I've kind of gotten used to, and it was tough. It was tough that first day back. So getting back into the swing and getting back to where I was pre-vacation has been fun, and like I said, it's kind of reassuring, I'm making progress and I can see it,
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is, it's a mentally great thing when you start working out, when you start eating better, when you see some progress, because then it makes you get excited about keep going.
Yeah.
So here's to your first 10 pounds.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye. Later.
And one of the things we want to hear from you guys is if you are on a current diet plan or you started a new workout plan and there's something that you want to share with us, we can tell your story too. Throw it in the comments. I've got them right up here. That's what I was kind of getting set while Jeff was talking. And we want to hear what you guys have been up to. Hey, Scott. So, I want to bring our guest in. He is an MMA fighter. He is a trainer. He is a nutritionist. He owns a gym. He's a coach. Anything else?
All around good dude.
Yeah. He's got nice hair.
Nicer than yours.
Yes. Well, nobody has nicer hair than me because my hair is never out of place. Well, except this one. This thing is always giving me trouble. It always sort of cocks itself to the side. I don't know why. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce to you Mr. Ryan White. Hello.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Your hand just cracked?
Yeah.
Your hand just
Maybe. I don't know.
Is it that strong? Here's broke Ryan's hand. I don't know if you know. I kind of work out.
So I should specify I'm not a nutritionist.
Oh, you're not?
No.
I thought you were.
No. I generally specialize in nutrition,
Okay.
but not a nutritionist. So
Okay.
Would you like to say that?
Definitely.
Full disclaimer.
Yeah, we're into that. We want to make sure we get our info straight for sure.
Yes. But everything else is right.
Everything else is good.
Okay.
All around good dude.
That's
That's on point.
Yeah, like we touch and go.
And look at the hair. Look at the hair.
Look at
It
that.
is better than yours.
Well, it was nice having Ryan on the show. I couldn't even throw him if I wanted to. He would kick my ass.
So MMA fighter.
Yes.
I grew up. We just met right before the show started,
Nice.
but I actually grew up training different martial arts.
Oh, nice.
And,
What did you do?
that was my thing. So I started off
Step up.
with Kempo, and
Relax.
I studied a little bit of everything
Nice.
from there on out, and yeah, man, I loved it. So
That's awesome.
What styles are you into?
So basically, I started in more of like the traditional martial arts route. Did Kempo in high school, and did a little bit of Kung Fu stuff. But then in 2005, I ended up at South Shore Sport Fighting, which is now in Norwell. At the time, it was in Whitman. And we've always sort of done MMA as a singular style. I've
Right.
since
You keep talking. I'll be
I've
right
since
back.
gone to specialize a bit in some sport jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai.
Nice.
Back in 2012, I became the head MMA coach at the Boston Muay Thai Academy, and that sort of got me, training specifically in Muay Thai for a while. And so, but overall, I've sort of treated it as a holistic style.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mixed martial arts as a whole is a misnomer.
Right.
Because it's really not a combination of boxing and wrestling and Muay Thai, etc.
Right.
Because there are big parts of all of those that simply don't work
Right.
in mixed martial arts setting.
Right.
And so they all end up being adapted. You have to do your homework a bit, and only then will they start being, effective in the cage.
Right. Very cool, man. I'm interested. I've actually been hoping to get back into some training and fighting once I'm back down to a proper fighting weight.
well, I should say, when I first started training, I weighed as much as you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Way back then, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And then I since ended up going on to fight as light as 155.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
155. That's
Yeah.
where I am. Actually, when I first came to you, I was about 150.
No, well, really? What are you weighing in at
Now I'm at 140.
That's awesome. Great job. Because that wasn't that long ago.
I'm still leaning down.
That's awesome. Yeah. So
Now I've got to try to change my macro. I think I talked about this a little bit last week. I want to change my macro to where I don't want to lose any more weight.
Yeah.
But I still want to lose about 5% body fat.
Well,
So I got to change my macro a little bit to keep fat burning going, but not really losing any more weight.
Certainly. Well, and that's the big thing that I feel a lot of people get lost in. They get stuck in the idea of weight loss. When you're not really looking for weight loss, you're looking for fat loss. You want to change
Right.
your body composition.
I was in the midst of both at first.
Yeah.
But now I'm done with the weight weight loss, and I definitely want to lean out a little bit more.
And so what do you think you're changing?
It'll probably be one more meal to add a little more caloric intake, probably a high fat meal, to add some caloric intake and more fat into my diet so that I can keep the metabolism burning the fat and get used to really leaning the fat down, but the extra caloric intake will keep my weight up.
So are you looking to get fully into like ketosis? Are you looking to get more of a ketogenic diet going?
Well, my whole diet has been a half ketogenic diet. And it's interesting to say it that way.
Yeah.
So when I started, I was literally just I hit the gym and I started watching what I ate, cut my carbs down. But at one point I cut carbs completely out and immediately got injured. Immediately. Mm-hmm. So I introduced carbs back in. Within a few days I was fine again. Mm-hmm. So my diet's sort of been a 60-20-20 fat, carb, protein.
Okay.
On heavy days, like where if I'm doing a weight day, it becomes more protein. Okay. I up the grams of protein a lot. But I'm trying to keep my carb content in the 20 to 30% range per day with such high fat content. That has worked really well at dropping because I'm eating the carbs right as I'm leaving for the gym. So it's my immediate fuel and I burn through it and then my body spends the rest of the day burning fat. Then on the weekend, on Saturday, I take my Saturday afternoon and I eat whatever I want. And I eat tons of carbs in that day. And it flips the metabolism up. And there's so much carbs in my system that it burns them all day. And then when they're gone, it's still looking for fuel. And it has gone after the fat stores. Okay. And then I typically, by 2 days after my cheat day, lose weight.
Cool. So you cycle pretty much.
Yeah.
Good. And
Plus I fast every day, 15 hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, but I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting.
Yep.
Usually, I'll go for, whenever I'm in periods of doing it, I'll go for like an 8-hour feeding window and then 16 hours of fasting.
Cool.
And they say anything over 12 is beneficial, and that'll help kickstart, cellular autophagy and things like that. But you mentioned an interesting thing about cutting down carbs. I think a good thing to keep in mind for a lot of people is the types of carbs you're getting. So basically, whenever we think of carbs, we generally think of acellular carbohydrates. And so those are things, like your wheat, your grain, your cereals.
Okay,
like that.
yeah.
But cellular carbohydrates, so things that come from a plant,
right.
Like fruit, vegetables, things like that. Those are generally, especially once your body composition is kind of where you're at, where you're not looking to lose more fat, John.
Right.
That, you could probably be a little more liberal with those and still get good results. And that way too, you're still going to be making sure that you're getting all your micronutrients and things like that you need.
So is that now we're talking about like fiber, right?
Yes.
Is that so I've actually been interested lately because I noticed that like the ketogenic thing is really big, and I noticed that it seems to be like a real. I mean, I don't know a lot about it. That's why we're here,
Sure.
But it seems to me the people that I see on Facebook, they're eating like very low fiber diets, and I know fiber is really important for gut health and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, what do you usually see people eating? Because I feel like the fiber content is probably pretty good.
Is it? Yeah, I don't really know.
So generally, what a lot of people will do is they'll eat. They'll make sure most of their food is plant based. Most of those plants are vegetables, and most of those vegetables are green.
By the way, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Wine is a big part of life for me, so
That's cool.
I'm Italian. I'm Sicilian Italian. It's just we're bred to drink wine.
Cool. And so and most of those plants should be green, and so those are generally going to have high fiber content.
Speaking of green, it's one of the things we're making today.
Oh yeah,
some nice green beans. We should get started on the cooking aspect of it.
I was so excited to start
talking about stuff. Can I trust you with a knife? Stuff. You okay with a knife?
Probably not, but let's see.
So first thing we're going to do is juggle these knives.
Yeah.
Okay? That's an important part of meal
prep. First thing we're going to do is about half of these potatoes, maybe a little more than half. We're gonna cut them.
Mm-hmm. You can use that tiny knife to cut that potato.
That tiny knife cuts everything.
Wow!
We're gonna cut them, and we're gonna quarter them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. We can do that. I think I can handle this, right? So while we're cutting,
while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna start on prepping the green beans.
It's a good thing there's three of us to do this because I don't know if I can handle this myself.
I'm already pretty sure.
It's gonna be delicious, though.
Cool.
So we were saying, so they pretty much have high fiber content. So what you're saying is that people are pretty much getting, and I'm learning here. So we're saying that that's part of your carbohydrate intake is those vegetables, but that's something that you wanna have.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, carbs that come from plants generally not a problem.
Right.
And where people run into issues is when they're eating a lot of like grain-based carbohydrates. So things like these guys.
What you do there, Jeff?
Almost. I was listening and not paying attention.
Oh,
I didn't
cut
it though. See? I was wondering when our first knife injury was going to be on the show.
Hello, Megan. Oh, Megan said she loves keto.
Oh, good. No, and so like I said, if they're doing keto, they're probably getting a good fiber content throughout the day.
Okay. So,
can I mention, by the way, how much I love this oil dispenser? Not just because it says Fitcho on it, but I used to just use regular oil bottles, and it was always hard to do a drizzle because they like to burp them out.
Mm-hmm.
This bottle, you can bring up just as much as you want into the top,
mm-hmm.
and then the pour is perfect, and it doesn't dribble.
That's
It's
awesome.
a wonderful thing.
you don't want dribble.
No, it's little things in the kitchen that make it enjoyable to cook. The more enjoyable it is, the more you want to cook.
My favorite part about cooking is eating.
So what we're making today,
I feel like that's part of why you're here.
yeah.
what we're making today is we're making a pineapple glazed Hawaiian steak
Sounds good.
with green beans and roasted potatoes. Now they're cutting the potatoes up, and we're going to take those potatoes and we're going to put them on a roasting pan like this, on a cookie sheet or a baking pan, with a drizzle of oil, and we're going to salt and pepper them. And we're going to do the same thing with the green beans here. We have some oil on the pan, and they're going to go in the oven, and they're going to roast for about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, some garlic powder, and it's a very simple, easy to make meal, but it's very healthy for you. You've got some starch, which starch isn't bad. I mean, there's a lot of people who will tell you, oh, you can't eat potatoes when you're trying to lose weight. But that's absolutely, don't sit around eating French fries is one thing. A broiled potato is a very different thing.
I did a lot of baked potatoes and carrots the first time that I lost all this weight, and hopefully this is the last time that I have to lose all this weight.
Well, now we're all going to hold you accountable, so you better not put this weight back
Put it
on.
up to you.
All right. So I'm interested. So is your kind of philosophy mostly stems from the MMA stuff, or are you kind of all around? Or?
So I mean, it varies. When I first started really training people, really as a coach,
Right.
a lot of it did stem from what I had experienced as a fighter,
Right.
which also kind of made me a bad one.
Right.
Because my work.
In what way?
Well, because I was stuck in what worked for me, and what works for
Right.
me isn't going to necessarily work for you.
And you also have to remember that just because you're a good athlete doesn't mean you're a good coach.
Yes, 100%. Todd Williams was a terrible baseball coach. No.
That's okay. I'm a Giants fan, and right now we want to lynch McAdoo. So
and so and I feel like it's not good to get too stuck into specific dogmas. People run into problems when they say, "Oh, this is my way of doing things," etc., etc. There's always good in different ways. There's always new science coming out that's kind of disproving or discrediting a lot of old ways of doing things. And so, but basically, when I first became a trainer,
like a nice production line
back in 2007, I would mostly regurgitate what my coaches had done for me, which worked for turning
some people,
for turning and a professional MMA fighter,
right.
But it's not necessarily going to work for a middle-aged woman who's only training a couple days a week,
right.
And is coming just loose and fast.
Not looking to get in the cage.
Exactly.
Well, she should be.
And so a big part of coaching is sort of knowing your audience, knowing kind of what they're looking for, what would be best for them, and then then running with that. Because the reality is, the best workout program, the best nutrition program is one they're actually going to do.
Right.
I could write you out the most concise training program right now, the most concise nutrition program.
Right.
If you're not going to do it, it's worthless.
Right. That's true.
And so
very true.
it's very important to sort of know who you're talking to, know what they need as an individual. 'Cause everybody needs different things. Everybody's going to react to different methods, and so it's just really important to get to know who your client is, and if you're the person trying to get those fitness results, sort of being self-aware. I think that self-awareness is a big part of any sort of lifestyle change that you're going to go for.
For sure.
Because you have to know, what's going to work for you and what isn't.
Right.
Why you're doing things and what aren't. Like, for instance, me, I've always been a very emotional eater. I know that. And so as a result, I'm able to
put the rest of these back in here just for now.
But as a result, I'm able to sort of curb that because I know what's going to trigger it and I know what isn't.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's smart. That's funny because I've actually just noticed. I was just talking about how I came back from my vacation, and one of the things that I've noticed about the way that I feel is that I'm more in tune with like what my body wants instead of just going, oh, it's time to eat. I'll say, well, I'm not really hungry right now. I'm not going to go, hey man, I ate an hour ago, but I really could use a snack. And like knowing knowing, hey, I'm thirsty instead of I need to just grab a grape or something.
There's a big difference too. Metabolically, your body will tell you when you're hungry, but mentally, cravings will tell you different things. If your body may not necessarily need food, but you've just looked at a pizza, your brain is going to tell you want that pizza. When metabolically and when physically you don't nutritionally need it to sustain at that point. That's part of the fasting thing that I do. Granted, a lot of my fasting time is when I'm sleeping. But I wake up and go to the gym. Yeah, I sleep. It's
bag of Doritos next to the bed.
No, I'm a very cute sleeper. I'm very
nobody's
So yeah, don't ever mistake the difference between cravings for hunger. There's two very different things. All right, gentlemen. Next up on the hit parade, I'm gonna wash these knives. You guys are then gonna chop up this bacon very finely.
All right.
Okay.
Keep chatting while I clean.
Well, then, to sort of build on what you were saying, John, I think it's important to note, too, that from an evolutionary standpoint, you're never going to be hungry for pizza.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You may emotionally want it, and you may, your body may, want those simple carbohydrates because that's sort of what you conditioned it to want.
Right.
But oftentimes, too, when we think we're hungry, it's really, something else that we're hungry for.
Right.
Either some emotional need, like, for instance, say, you just played a gig, and after that, you guys always get pizza or Chinese food or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to want. That's what you've conditioned yourself to do.
Right.
And so a big part of any sort of fitness journey is figuring out what you're hungry for.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. No, that does make it. That's a good point for sure.
And the other part too is if you eat a very carb-heavy diet, because carbs are quick food. Carbs run through you. They're very quick fuel. So if you eat a carb-heavy diet, you're going to be hungry faster. That's the running joke is when you get Chinese food, you're hungry right away again. Because Chinese food that you get from a junk food Chinese restaurant is very carb-heavy, and once those carbs run through you, your basically body is looking for more fuel. So you get hungry again, and you're like, I'm hungry. What else can I eat? But I just ate an hour ago.
Yeah.
All right, so chop that up to a nice small little thing because that's going to sprinkle over the steak later. By the way, they're doing some nice bacon. Where's that? Is that?
I like the amount of bacon that I get to eat.
Have a look at that. How's that?
Nice.
Look good? Yeah, doesn't it? That looks good while that cam is on. We'll take a look at the wine.
Bacon and wine.
Yes.
So that's great. So we were saying that you kind of came from the MMA world, and now as a coach, you kind of tailor specifically to what people need. And I think that's really cool that like you have that background and you can apply it, but you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where conditioning somebody so that they can go do an MMA fight is just going to look very different than conditioning somebody who wants to lose some body fat and get a little, get stronger.
Right.
So how about we do this?
Sure.
While you're chatting.
Cool.
Jeff, you keep going on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right.
Take these tomatoes. You're simply just gonna cut them in half.
Okay.
I feel like
Sure,
you're like, are you Gordon Ramsay right now?
What?
You
Should I start yelling?
Are you stupid? Cut these tomatoes! When do we have him on the show? Is he coming on?
I'm working on that. 'Cause I want to have him on the show. Now, while you guys are doing that, I marinated the beef.
Yeah, you marinate that.
I marinated the beef. It's been marinating for a while now. So I made a marinade from pineapple juice, garlic. What was that?
That rhymes.
It does rhyme, doesn't it? Pineapple juice, garlic, brown sugar, and Worcestershire sauce. And the steaks have been marinating in it with some pineapples. There are actual pineapples in here to get it in there. So I'm now going to start to grill these. I've got a pan over here on the stove. And we're going to... Excuse me one second. I got to get a pair of tongs. I should have had these out prior. Oh, they're not in this drawer. Are they in this drawer? No, I'm
Let me
there they are.
see that tongs.
Tongs. And they're purple. How many of you guys have purple tongs?
No comment.
How many of you have a purple thong?
I'm wearing mine right now.
Let me see.
So,
okay.
So I don't remember. We were talking a little bit before we went live here, and you had mentioned that you were at one point much heavier as well.
Yes,
right?
I was.
And so tell us about that a little bit. You said
Well, so basically, when I first started over at Social Core Fighting, I weighed just north, somewhere between like 270 and 290, so close to 300.
right.
And you know, I'm only 5'8".
Okay.
I am not a tall person.
All right.
You are almost as tall as me.
Yeah. So
And you know, and I knew I had wanted to fight, but obviously at that weight, being obese like I was,
correct.
that just really wasn't an option.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I was fortunate enough to have a great coach in Bill Mahoney, who was able to sort of manipulate me and find the right ways of motivating me to sort of get me where I wanted to go. Because, at 19, my whole thing was I wanted to fight right away.
Right.
And so what he was smart with was he gave me more like micro goals. So, at 270, he was like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, if you get to 230, then we'll talk. And then it became get to 200, and then we'll talk. Right. And then that kept getting lighter and lighter until before I was walking around at like 175 and ready to fight at 150.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
And so...
Which is interesting you say that. I like, and I've learned that especially in the last several months. I was 175, ready to fight at 150.
Yeah, well,
Because people don't. I don't think a lot of people understand the weight cutting for weigh-in day versus what you walk into a cage at.
Yes.
And which is only a day later or so, right?
Yes. So usually you'll have a little more than 24 hours to, between when you weigh in and then when you have to fight. But that's really more than enough time to sort of get yourself ready to actually compete. Right. Only like once did a cut not go great, and I just did not feel, up to it in fight time.
What's your philosophy on cutting?
You see that? So I think.
By the way, I'm not getting awkward down here. I'm getting a pass.
I think if you know how to do it, if you know how to do it properly, then I'm all for cutting, because I think as much as it sucks fighting, cutting 20 pounds, it sucks even more fighting somebody who cut 20 pounds that you didn't.
Right.
Now, for everybody watching, define cutting, because a lot of people won't understand what that means.
So cutting to make it different than weight loss or self mutilation. Yeah. That's weight that you're losing with the intention of getting back. And so when we make weight for fights, so like we had
spot shift.
And so we had a guy fighting at 155 a couple weeks ago. He was probably close to 170 come fight time.
Right.
So he's only going to be at 155 really for the time it takes to get him on the scale, and then that's it.
Okay.
And then from there you go into the rehydration process, which people usually use like Pedialyte and a lot of good carbohydrates.
Interesting. I've used that on stage.
Oh, Pedialyte?
Yeah, because I've played a lot of shows where we were doing like spring break style gigs, and it was, big stages outdoors with massive lights on stage. This was back before everything went digital, and it would be 110 degrees on stage, and you're playing a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I'm a sweater.
You're cooking.
Yeah.
And there were nights where I would come off that stage just done, and Pedialyte would be what got me through to the next day.
Oh, it's huge. It's remarkably helpful, especially for somebody who is going to be dehydrating themselves to the point that they need to when you're cutting weight.
Yeah.
So going back to your story personally, so you were able to obviously cut that weight, get in the ring, and do your thing, and then what was the next step to now I'm a fighter, I've done this, and now I want to help other people?
So from there, admittedly it came originally from kind of a selfish place, in that I knew I wanted to fight,
right,
and so as a result I was like, I should probably get a job that's going to have me in the gym all the time.
There you go.
I need to be in the gym all the time.
It works.
And so that was why I became a trainer.
Right.
But then that's since grown. Between my fitness journey and MMA journey, that's done so much to help me out that now I want to use that to help other people.
That's awesome.
And I like to think I do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can attest that because I have worked out with him on several occasions now, and his workouts are no joke. And interesting, you're going to find out because we're actually his gym and a workout with Ryan is our feature workout of the week this week. Yeah. So later in the week, you're going to see him put me and Jeff through hell.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
I'm pumped.
It'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. Watch your Jeff throw up again.
So did you puke before?
No.
No, I got pretty close though. At one of the
CrossFit South Shore. Yep. I thought you were there.
Yeah, Nick did a good job of putting us through the ringer, and it was great. It was a good workout. I made it through the whole set, but it was tough. But I love that. Coming from a martial arts background, I grew up kind of pushing myself and loving. I hit that limit, and I want to see how far I can go. So,
That's awesome.
Doing those really intense workouts, even though physically I'm not ready for it, I feel good at the end when I know, I made it through and I got somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I should say too, I generally don't love the idea of people puking in my class.
Come on.
Well, everyone's different, so you're in that mentality where you just really want to push yourself to the limit. And that's awesome.
Right.
However, a lot of people aren't. If I'm working with somebody who just wants to lose a little weight, they're very much just like, and they're still new to working out, like they haven't, their fitness hasn't become like their life.
Right.
That's a very negative stimulus to attach to that.
That's true.
Tell me, last time you puked up some food, when was the last time you ate that food? After how long did you go?
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah.
Because I know I'll usually go like a year.
Yeah.
Before I eat something again that I puked up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because again, that's a very negative association to have.
I go about 10 minutes.
He immediately eats it.
I wouldn't use you as the standard.
What are you saying?
You can take that however you want. It could be either really good or really bad. I'll let you decide. But and so this is a really negative thing to attach to something that's supposed to be a positive.
Right.
And so so usually I'll try to kind of bring people to the line, but they don't want to cross it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why
I'm excited right now.
Oh, good.
Oh, you get to.
We're about to use the Fit Show slap chopper.
Oh, nice. I like that you guys have all these branded items. That's good. I wasn't prepared.
It's like product placement, like.
Oh yeah. Is that my one or yours?
I switched it. Yes,
did you?
Yeah. There's a roofie in that one.
Oh, it's nice. It's a roofie. You want some?
So no, that's a good way to look at it, and that's one of the things that I love about the fact that we have so many different gyms and trainers.
Voila!
Very nice.
Because I feel like you can find somebody that works well for you, works well with you.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. We're trying to hear and work best with.
Right.
But but one of the big things I try to do over at Hero is about time all of our workouts. And the reason why I do that is so rather than say, okay, you're gonna do 10 reps of this, or 12 reps of this, etc. Is most of the time we'll be doing something for time. So we'll be doing an exercise for 30 seconds. Because that way you can make the workout as harder as you need to make it.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Now, if I could see that somebody's truly just sandbagging, if they're capable of doing more and they're not, then I'll give them that push.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, I don't want somebody to ever come in and feel like that was too much, I can't do that.
Right.
And so, you just sort of give them the way to make it not too much.
Yeah, that's great.
So that way I have some really high performers, I have some really good athletes who I work with, and then I also have some people who are just getting off the couch and trying to get into it.
So that makes it really easy to tailor a workout to you, to the individual.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I like that.
Exactly. Well, because again, it's one of those things where everybody's different, and I want you to get the very best that you can out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, because what I also don't want is basically if there is a weakest link in class, my goal is that they don't know it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so basically it's one of those things where...
Which is good, because it keeps people from getting disheartened.
Well, exactly. And I think especially at first, it's really important to rack up wins. That's why usually one of my philosophies when I have new people in is to sort of set their standard of expectation low. So say, you come in off the street and you and I start working together. I ask you how many times a week you think you train. You say 5.
Right.
I'll make you hold yourself to 2. You know what I mean? Because the reality is you probably can't do 5 every week.
That's funny. John and I actually had that conversation when I first started working out. I said, I want to get in every day. And he basically said the same exact thing to me, was, set low expectations. And it really has worked.
That's good. I'm going to take credit for that because I'm pretty sure I told John.
All right.
And,
absolutely. To the second degree.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I appreciate
we're gonna
appreciate
like
you giving me that job.
It's how you have affected me. See, your training rubbed off on me.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, because then by week 2, say for like 3 days a week, come in there and I'm like, I suck anyway, I screwed up.
Right.
So I think it's just so important to rack up those wins, especially early on.
For sure.
Then you can build momentum and keep going.
So we just put we grilled the pineapples. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoop. Just went blank for a second. Now I've got some onions grilling over here. I'm gonna add the bacon to the onions. This is all gonna go on top of the steak. It's gonna be phenomenal. By the way, this bacon is a very healthy bacon. No nitrates, low fat, grass fed. It's as healthy of a bacon as you can get, and the only thing that makes bacon better than bacon is more bacon.
Extra bacon.
So whether you're trying to be healthy, eat healthy, whatever, if you are not a vegetarian, of course, bacon should never be off your diet.
A vegetarian?
Can you be a vegetarian?
I don't know.
I'm sure there are some people who are, but I don't know how recommended that is.
Oh man, it looks and smells phenomenal. I know I say that, I keep saying that every week, but it really does. I love the fact that I get to try new things here.
Yeah,
And,
that's good.
and also, you know, eating healthy or healthier doesn't have to be bland and boring.
No,
right?
it really doesn't.
Yeah. So how do you work your nutrition? Do you your nutrition expertise into your training? Is that kind of like, is it incidental, or do you do sit downs?
So I do like to do sit downs with people, anyone who wants them. And so usually, so what I'll do a lot, especially if it's a brand new person, is I'll have them do a food journal, and then we'll go over sort of strategy. I'm very strategy and concept based.
Right.
I don't really believe necessarily in being like, okay, you're gonna at breakfast eat, 4 ounces of this,
Right.
and a cup of this, and stuff like
And
that.
it feels like you're chained, you know.
Well, that, and I never want somebody to feel like they're necessarily being deprived.
Right.
But also, too, I don't know if that works for you. Unless you're doing your battery medical test all the time, it's hard to know what's really going to be effective for you.
Right.
And so, and I do think, people are adults, so they can self-regulate that. So what I do is I give them a series of guidelines. So usually, like, the first thing that I'll have people do when they come in is we use a strategy called crowding. So rather than take anything away, I sort of give them homework. So every time you eat, you have a source of protein and a handful of leafy green vegetable.
Okay.
And so, and after that, I don't care what you eat.
Right.
And so what that does is it sort of, in a roundabout way, manipulates you into, like, not getting pizza. It's going to be harder.
Right.
It's like, but, you can eat whatever you want after you get your protein and a handful of
Yeah, and then after that, you're feeling fuller, and you're not.
Exactly. So you probably won't eat it anyway.
Right.
But I think one of the worst things to happen with people is when they feel like they're being deprived, like they can't have it.
Right.
That's when cravings are very common. That's, willpower is a finite resource.
Right.
And, and so it will run out eventually. And so,
That's a good quote. Is that your quote?
probably not, but let's say sure.
He learned that from me.
I'm gonna use it.
He got that one from me.
I'm gonna use that. I like
When
it.
he was killing me in a class one day, I said that.
Yeah.
Ryan, willpower is a finite resource, and I think I'm done.
So obviously I've heard that lots of times. I think I coined that phrase.
Yeah.
Like,
But I love that strategy. I love it.
One thing you always said, have a salad first.
That's actually one of the things. The first time that I lost weight, that's one of the things that I did, and it really worked well for me. So
I think that's huge. That's why too, like, as like a little hack before, like, say you go out.
Right.
Is like have a protein shake or something.
Right.
So that's gonna, have a lot of nutrients that will be sitting in your stomach.
Right.
So you won't necessarily be hungry.
Right.
You have mindlessly eat on,
it's like pre-gaming for dinner. It's like,
that's exactly what it is. But rather than you up to just
Right.
making sure you're nourishing yourself.
Right.
Because
Right.
I feel like a lot of people forget that food is supposed to nourish you.
Right.
If it's not doing that, then
Right.
you're wasting your time, your energy, and being detrimental to your health too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of food out there that's marketed as health food that isn't nutritious. It doesn't. It does that exactly what you're talking about. It starves you of certain things instead of feeding you the good stuff instead.
Well, and there are plenty of market researchers who get paid a lot of money to figure out ways to market something that is not health food as health food.
Right.
And that's the vast majority of what you find in a grocery store.
Right. Right.
And that's the fun thing about a place like Whole Foods is, everybody jokes it's whole paycheck.
Yeah.
But you
I
get
ate Whole
you get-
Foods. I ate a whole pizza. I ate a whole pig.
No, I've always said, people are like, oh, I go to Whole Foods because the food is better. If you walk into the produce section of Stop and Shop, you're going to get produce.
Right.
Well, mine's non this, mine's non that. They're all there too. You just don't have to go pay 4 times more for it at Whole Foods. And you have to not put a label on it to be cool. Well, I shop at Whole Foods. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, right? They posted up about their Starbucks drink. Mm-hmm. And they posted their thing, wow, the receipt makes me look high maintenance. And it was like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, should have just got a Big Mac. Yeah. She's like, ew, I would never do that. I'm like, what you're drinking is just as bad.
Well, exactly. I mean,
and she's like, no, it's not. So I pulled up the panels online, which you can do for anything.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the Big Mac panel and the Starbucks Frap, like, done-up panel, not that far apart. The Frap had maybe 60 less calories, actually had more fat than the Big Mac. And more carbs than the Big Mac.
Well, and at least you're getting protein with the Big Mac. Honestly,
and you are getting protein.
Honestly, I would say if you have to choose, go for the burger. And
oh man, all right, I'm going to McDonald's on the way home. No, I'm just kidding.
After these steaks, you're not going to have room for that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to need it.
It's like, but yeah, I mean, so a lot of times when they get, people get their coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, or Starbucks, or whatever, they're really just getting sugar bombs. You know what I mean? They might as well eat candy.
Right.
You know. And so yeah. I mean, it's the truth.
Right.
And so I mean, that's why one of the things I really try to stress too is how unless it is in the form of a protein shake, that people don't drink their calories.
Right.
Because those are, that's an empty crap that we're taking in. We don't necessarily thinking about it.
Right.
Really, eating should be a mindful endeavor, and it really isn't. You know what I mean? How many times do you just graze watching TV or something?
Yeah,
a lot.
Well, exactly.
So, 2012. So from 31 till 45, I used my knee as a convenient excuse to be out of shape, to not work out. Every time it looked like I should work out, it's going to bother my knee. And then I woke up one day in 2012 and I was 195 pounds. And I'm 5'6".
Yeah.
I had a head about the size of a bowling ball. Mm-hmm. And I still have my old license. You look at it and you're like, good Lord, what was wrong with you?
Did you get stung by a bee?
And I remember waking up one day and looking at my wife, and I said, I was like standing there. She said, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't see my feet. And that was and I got angry, and I dropped 50 pounds.
That's awesome.
And I took a year to do it though. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. What's your take on? We can get you to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks.
I hate that.
Thank you. Let's talk about that.
Because when people, push gimmicks like that, like, you can lose, X amount in X amount of time, that implies that you're done after that. You know what I mean? And that's why, I was a corporate trainer for a while. I worked at Boston Sports Club and then on Newbury Street in the city. And they would always sell things in 90-day packages. Because really, because they wanted your money. Right. but there would be a 90-day commitment. Now, the issue with that is a lot of people would assume that they were done after 90 days.
Right.
And that's a problem. But when you give people a time frame like that, to lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, or whatever, it's just going to give a false expectation. Right. Because whenever they issue guarantees like that, there may have been a small percentage of the people who did it that achieved that. Right. And so they say you technically can, but it doesn't mean that you will. And everybody reacts different.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I've never thought about that before, but really it's that kind of deal is a lose-lose situation.
Oh, it really is.
If you do it, then great, I did it, I'm done, I don't have to do it anymore. And if you didn't do it, well then now you're kicking yourself because you didn't, oh man, I didn't reach my goal. And it's like...
Exactly, and a lot of times too when people lose that much weight with gimmicks like that, you'll see that a lot with juice cleanses and things like that, or jumpstart program. A lot of times that weight that they're losing, and this comes back to what we were talking about body composition versus actual weight. All they're really losing is a lot of water and inflammation in the body is being reduced. Right. Because they're not eating Big Macs and stuff like that. Right. And so, yes, they probably lost a little body fat. They probably also lost muscle. And again, it's probably just a lot of, inflammation going down in the body because a lot of these bad foods that we eat all the time, trigger an inflammatory response in the body. Right. And a lot of times, too, you're excreting water because you're no longer taking as much sodium as you were and things like that. Right. And so that's often where those come from. But then, like I said, after that, people think they're done. Right. And oftentimes, these programs can also trigger starvation, effects in the body. And so then once you start introducing those bad foods again, you'll end up, getting heavier than you were when you started. Right. I know I've been sucked into that before, and most people have. Yep. It's a very common pitfall.
So here's an interesting thing, and I want to talk about this. Scott Keys is watching, and Scott said, we need carbs for energy when we work out hard. Yes and no.
Yes. And like I said, not all carbs are created equal.
Right.
You know, not once did I say you cannot have carbs. And like I said, I specified all the ones that you can have and that you can't. Now, like John had talked about, after a workout, you have about a 15-minute window where your body really wants simple carbohydrates.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's so you can, you know, replenish your energy stores in your muscles. You know, you want that, and research shows that will give an increased adaptation effect, aka results. And you know, but you don't need carbs just to need carbs. There's no daily recommendation for carbohydrate intake.
Right.
We are not programmed to be eating things like wheat and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I'm sure our ancestors made it just fine without their Dunkin' Donuts bagels. You know, and so
Well, that's the thing. We talked about it on the nutrition show last Wednesday.
Yeah.
A big mistake a lot of people make is timing.
yeah.
So you have a sedentary job where you're 9 to 5, you're at a desk, you're not moving, you're not a construction worker, you're not a roofer, you're not out doing something. And on your way to work, you grab a Frappuccino, a bagel with bacon, egg, and cheese on it, and some hash browns, and you give your body this fuel, all of these carbs that it wants to use right now, and then you sit at your desk.
Exactly.
And what happens is, it goes right here.
Exactly. And so a general rule that I like to give people is think of carbohydrates as being what they are, as fuel. If you're going to do something to burn it off, awesome, do it.
Right.
But if you're not, you really don't need it. And but like I said, like as far as like there is no, as far as like traditional what we consider carbs to be, there is no daily requirement for carbohydrates.
Right. That's interesting.
There is for fat, there is for protein.
The old food triangle was the eat all the carbs in the world.
Well, and so they've actually been able to trace us back to a study, I think it was done in the 60s, where they actually deduced that the sort of leaders in the sugar industry ended up paying the equivalent of $50,000 to some researchers to sort of doctor, you know, false research.
Oh, that never happens.
Yeah.
To you know, and that could be an issue with research. You need to see who's funding it, and you need to see who's conducting it, and if they have any sort of agenda. 'Cause a lot of times there is agenda-driven studies, but basically, what they did is they blamed fat for things like, you know, heart disease and diabetes and stuff like that, which we now know is mostly caused by glucose, aka sugar.
Yeah, that's the insulin spikes that most people don't think about. One of the reasons I fast is, and fasting is a really healthy thing to do because it cleans out your body, but one of the things it does, it regulates your insulin. So it takes your insulin level, where when you eat, your insulin level spikes. Then it comes down, and then you eat again, and it spikes again. And when you do this to your body a lot, your body doesn't take well to it. So if you eat a big meal, and then you have a little snack, and then you eat a big meal, and you have a little snack, and then, so from 9 o'clock through noon, I fast. And what it does is it allows the insulin to drop all the way down to where my body is productive with everything that's inside, where it gets rid of all the bad things, it regulates all the body functions, and it sets the body up for the next day's metabolic needs.
Yeah.
And you wake up the next day. Now, I don't eat breakfast. I wake up and I go right to the gym. And that's what I want to get you into, because then I don't have carbs for fuel. So I'm going to take a small carb push in the form of my pre-workout, and I drink post-workout during, which is BCAA and glutamine loaded.
Yes.
And that little carb push gives me just enough of a lift to jump into my workout, but it's gone right away. And then the workout burns fat. And then the afterburn burns fat as well. And then by the time I get home, and that's something we're going to get into with you as we go along, is that's when your first meal happens, and you bring that glucose level and your metabolism all the way up to be productive. But because it's been burning down here the whole time, it's going to ramp through that, and the afterburn is going to continue to roll right through everything.
Well, and even outside of a body composition standpoint, fasting has so many health benefits, because basically our cells, you know, put so much energy into processing food that they don't end up sort of doing their own self-repair.
Do you want to plate this stuff? Or
Which is called autophagy. You know,
Yes.
those are and that's a process where your cells sort of clean out, you know, cells that aren't operating efficiently, and sort of go through that self-repair process. And and that's when your body can't do that, that's when you're increasing your risk for things like cancer. And obviously that's something that all of us would like to avoid.
Right.
And so that's why there could be a lot of benefit to doing, that intermittent fasting regimen.
Right.
And so basically your body generally needs about 12 hours for those systems to kick in.
Yeah.
And so that's why people should, I feel like, strive to go for at least 12 hours where they're only getting like water and black coffee.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. and that's I feel like that's kind of don't eat after 7 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the fasting is easy. The hard part is all while you're asleep.
Exactly.
And you get up and go to work and do your thing. So that's really cool. I've been talking a lot about, because I'm starting this journey and I'm trying to let you guys know what I'm feeling. And I think I mentioned last week that even though the numbers, I think I'm at a healthy rate of weight loss right now, but really the biggest thing that I've noticed is how I feel. And I think that the fasting has a lot to do with that. I was a person who was coming home and going to sleep until forever.
Then you don't get hung up on the numbers, because honestly, a healthy weight loss at the start of somebody your size,
Right.
a healthy weight loss is 2 to 3 pounds a week.
Right.
At my size, it was 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's
You're going to lose a
generally
little
how-
bit right off the bat just due to water loss.
Yeah, well, like I said, the reduction of inflammation and things like that.
Right.
And so, they really say that, like, sort of like John was saying, that anything more than 3, you're probably not losing fat.
Right.
And you're losing other stuff.
Right.
So that's generally not great.
Right.
Obviously, there will be exceptions to this. There usually aren't, though.
Right.
Those are typically outliers.
Right.
The
Right.
one we're interested in is the average, not
Right.
the outliers.
Right.
You know.
Definitely. Yeah, all great stuff, man. I've really enjoyed hearing your point of view on
Oh, well,
everything.
thank you. I appreciate that.
You brought
When's your
some
next fight? Tell us about your career.
Well, so basically, I haven't fought in a couple of years. That looks really good.
By the way, this is what we're eating today.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know if I'm going to put it over here.
You're better at plating things than me.
I am much better. If you've ever seen Jeff plate, Jeff kind of goes.
Yeah, that's about how I do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to let the overhead cam kind of take a look at it so y'all can see what we're eating. We got to get a picture of that before we start eating.
With some of our
some
Nantucket
fiction.
Vineyards wine in there.
Yes,
right?
we love Nantucket Vineyard. They have been amazingly good to us. Do you have a preference on piece?
Nope.
How hungry are you?
So, yeah, why don't you give me a smaller one?
The small? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But as far as what I've been doing, so I actually haven't fought for a couple of years because I've really been focused on coaching, and I would like to again relatively soon. I have some weight to lose myself. I'd say about 15 pounds before I'm at a point where I can realistically start thinking about it. And so that's what I've been working on. I just concluded a big strength phase where I was just looking to increase my strength on everything.
Yep.
And so now, going back into the weight loss with the intent of fighting again.
Nice.
But you're still coaching and you're still
yes.
active in the
Yeah.
MMA right now. So tell us
right.
about who you're coaching and how that's been going.
So I'm one of the guys over at Social Sport Fighting. I've been one of the sort of leaders there for probably the past 5 or 6 years. We are currently, I believe, the winningest fight team in New England.
Wow.
This year so far,
Winning.
This year so far, I think we're about 34-6.
Wow.
Something like that, and then there was a draw in there. At some point, I could be a little off.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Either way, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so we have a very good win percentage.
Yeah, right.
And so I've been really enjoying being on that end.
That's awesome.
How do you approach coaching a fighter? And now I'm going to ask this because this is what I think is good. How do you approach coaching a fighter versus coaching someone who comes into your gym?
Honestly, no differently in that
Really?
it's based on what they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
There are some people where
Which one?
All of them?
Pour everything on Jesse.
it's not conducive to weight.
Yeah.
You're a big boy,
Yeah,
and you need a lot of healthy fats in you and good protein. So we're going to give you that piece.
All right.
Cool.
We also want to say too, because now we're getting short on time, but so if you guys want to Google Ryan, then you want to look him up at Hero Training Center,
Yes.
right?
So I'm one of the guys behind the Hero Training Center. We're in Carver, and check us out.
And
Yeah,
so when
for
he
sure.
says that they're in Carver, they're inside USA Fitness.
Yes.
And I want to make that distinction because I drove around for 10 minutes trying to find Hero.
Yes.
And drove by USA Fitness 4 times.
Yeah, we sublease.
But that's great. So absolutely, I'm sure people will definitely want to be looking into you guys
That would be
and
great,
checking you out. I can't wait to
Awesome.
get into our workout this week.
Yeah,
It's
there's
going to
some
be
fun stuff planned for you.
I can't wait. You guys get to watch that and see Ryan in action, and see me attempt to be in action.
And I'll do my best to keep up.
I
No
appreciate
joke.
the
Like
modesty.
so,
Yeah.
and I don't mean this. I mean this with no joke. Look, I'm in reasonably good condition at this point in my training, and when I worked out with him, I was hurting.
That's what you needed.
So and that's the thing that's great about his thing. It doesn't matter the fitness level. he's going to find the place for you to hit your spot.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So like I said, customization is one, very much needed, and something that's often ignored. Because like I said,
grab the camera, take a picture of this. You guys
isn't going to necessarily work for John or anybody else. And so it is important to find what's going to work best for you. And one of the things I specialize in is teasing that out of whoever I'm working with.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. We gotta get that. We gotta get.
This is just beauty.
So while John's doing that, we want to talk about the other things that we have coming up this week. Right. We have got an awesome interview coming up on Wednesday.
Yes.
Tell us about that, John. Oh, John's got
I gotta put this back.
So the weekly nutrition series, that's the short live interview with nutritionists we have this week.
We have Stretch Rumaner on this week. Stretch is going to be joining me Wednesday at 2 p.m. on the Fit Show page for the Wednesday Shorts Nutrition Series. Stretch is a chef from Kansas City, originally born, I believe, in New Jersey, though. And he has been on, I think, about a half a dozen Food Network TV shows, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. He does a lot of work with Guy Fieri. And he is going to come on the show, and we're going to talk about Thanksgiving eating. We're going to talk for about 20 minutes on how eating for Thanksgiving can be enjoyable without overdoing it. Now, mind you, if you're working out, if you're on a steady workout program, one day is not going to mess you up.
No.
One day is not going to throw you off your game.
No.
Make it your cheat day for that week.
Yeah,
I'm going to eat a whole pecan pie.
So you can enjoy the entire bird, just put everybody away and eat the bird.
Well, exactly. It's habits that are important. Just like one good meal isn't going to set you on the path to wellness. One bad meal isn't going to.
And honestly, Thanksgiving turkey. Probably the worst thing is stuffing.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like I know I've never
get around everything else.
Yeah, and then honestly, like me, I've never been a big fan of things like mashed potatoes and stuffing. So I usually just eat a lot of meat and vegetables. Yeah.
You eat mashed potatoes with gravy right next to the stuffing.
Yeah.
Right next to the yams.
Yeah, to me that sounds like a bad time.
And then by the time I'm done, there's no room for the turkey.
I just want the bird.
Protein and vegetables first.
Just wants the bird. Just give me the turkey.
So next week our guest is going to be
next week our guest is
Nick Cerruta.
Nick Cerruta, that is right. Forgive my
who we've already done a weekly workout with at CrossFit South Shore.
Nick owns CrossFit South Shore, and he's the one who almost made Jeff throw up. We're gonna have him in the kitchen next week to talk CrossFit, to talk good eating habits for the type of workout that CrossFit puts you through, which can be very strenuous. And just to hang out. He's a cool dude, and we like him a lot, and so we decided to bring him on the show. We're gonna see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Now we're seeing him tomorrow. You'll see it on Thursday. Thursday workout of the week. Wednesday nutrition shorts with Stretch Rumaner. Anything else left? Can I have a fork and a knife?
I think we got
a fork and a knife.
But lastly, but definitely not leastly, we want to thank again Nantucket Vineyards for being our wine sponsor, and it's going to go so well with this steak.
And this does go well.
I can't wait,
gentlemen.
Thank you again, Ryan, for coming on the show.
We're going to eat this, and we'll see you guys next week. You know what's funny? He put the wine down. I'm going to drink the wine
I'm
first.
going to drink it all.
Yeah.
One can see, why are they still